This is a general picture of 1 week in my life, 7 consecutive days in this month, December. Other than the dancing, which I will explain when it gets to that point.
Cooper, do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to go for a walk? For a walk? So Cooper and I walk on these roads back behind where I live. I just call them the power lines roads because I think they're here for the power company to access these power lines, but they make for good walking trails. I have reached the point where I will turn around and walk back home, and so I'll go back home and start a fire.
Now I am going to pick up dog poop, and this is one of my chores, and it's not an exciting chore, and something that makes it even less exciting is that this is not Cooper's poop. This is somebody else's dog's poop that I'm picking up, and this used to really irritate me because I felt like it was someone else's responsibility and not mine, and so why do I have to do it? But as I was struggling internally with being irritated about this chore, I remembered this verse.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God.
And remembering that and realizing that I actually do want peace. I like peace in my life. I, to some extent, need it in my life. It is worth it to me to be patient and pick up somebody else's dog's poop for the sake of peace. For the sake of peace, I can go ahead and do this chore with much more grace. And that's not to say that a person should do anything to maintain the peace. I mean, I think depending upon the situation, there are some things that are worth disturbing the peace over. It kind of, like I said, depends on the situation, but in this situation, I can definitely pick up dog poop to have peace. So I braved the wilderness, and when I say wilderness, I don't mean the woods, I mean the grocery store. And I went there because I needed to get ginger root for a soup that I need to make tonight. So I got that, and I got some other things as well. But I've been thinking about how this time of year is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, as they say. But to me, it's more like the most wonderful time of the year, question mark, because it really isn't for a lot of people. And if you're someone who can enjoy the holidays and it's just a really good fun time with family or friends, and you just can really enjoy it, then that's really a good thing, and you should enjoy it if you can. I don't have anything to say against that. It's just a reality for a lot of people that it is not the most wonderful time of the year, and I have a quick word on that subject. These holidays are difficult for many people. The pressure of expectations, obligations, memories, what one has or doesn't have, had or didn't have, absences. Many things get the spotlight or get pressured in unpleasant ways during these holidays. It is no made-up thing that the holidays are a difficult and stressful time for many people. It can push people to do things they really don't want to do. And there are feelings of inadequacy in even the most adequate. This betta I bought as a baby betta at a pet store, and it's supposed to be a female betta, but I think its fins are pretty long for a female betta. It was the first baby betta that I bought. I usually just buy the adult ones, and when I bought it, it was tiny, like really tiny. I actually have never seen a baby betta for sale that was that tiny. It looked like plankton or something, but when I first got her, she was periwinkle in color, and so I named her Perry for periwinkle. But she's doing good. She's grown a lot. And these white spots on my glass there and back there and on this piece of wood are eggs from these nerite snails I have in here. There's one of them, and I don't know where the other one is right now. These are live plants I have in here. I believe they are anubias, and I don't know how to get rid of this really stubborn, like blackish algae on some of these leaves, but otherwise the plant is doing okay. And there's a bunch of like little baby anubias floating around in here. Earlier you saw me feeding my goldfish, and he is in a he or she is in a separate tank. And it was just a feeder goldfish that I got at the pet store at like 20 cents or something, but I really enjoy that fish for some reason. It seems very happy and notices when you walk by its tank, and I just for some reason get a lot of joy out of that goldfish. And I used to keep it in a goldfish bowl, which is not ideal, but one day it jumped out and it almost died. It was on the counter and it was almost starting to dry out a little bit, but it lived. But after that I thought I don't want it to die, so I got a different tank for it, one with a lid, and so it can't jump out now. My other tank with the betta and the zebra danios in it, that one is just a 10-gallon tank, and it's heated and it's fresh water, obviously. So those little white nerite snail eggs that I showed you will not hatch, because I found out that for them to hatch they need saltier water, and so they won't hatch. I like animals in general, dogs and fish specifically and especially. I've had other types of animals in my lifetime so far. I've had birds, not parrots or anything with a hooked bill, but finches, and I really enjoyed them. I hand-fed a Goldian finch, and I think that was one of the most special pets I've ever had. It was tame. It would come to you. It was a very special pet, and I don't have birds anymore. If I ever had them again, I would prefer to have them in a larger aviary type of situation, because I kind of feel bad to have a pet bird in a smaller cage or some type of enclosure where they can't fly very much. It seems like such a shame to have the ability to fly but be in a smaller cage. Like, if I kept birds again, I'd want a place for them to be able to fly more. Also, they're kind of messy. I mean, there's the like dust type of stuff coming from their feathers, and then there's the seeds and everything. With fish, I've noticed that they seem much more self-contained because their whole environment is in the tank, and they don't smell, they don't create dust, they don't really create a mess except inside the tank, which of course you have to clean. But I really kind of like that it's a clean and quiet sort of pet to keep, and I think fish are very beautiful and they're easy to care for. I have never had a saltwater tank in my life. I've always had freshwater tanks. I used to have two 55-gallon tanks, and I think maybe a 35 or 30-gallon tank. Now I'm down to a 10-gallon tank because it's just even less upkeep, I think, to have a smaller tank as far as water changes goes and having smaller fish that don't create as much waste. But I really do enjoy keeping tropical fish. I've usually kept community tanks in the past. I wanted to keep something with this betta so that it wouldn't be kind of lonely. I don't know if they get lonely, but with the Danios in there that are so active, it just keeps something going on in the tank, and the betta's not alone. And I think it does it good. They don't bother the betta. I've never seen them nip any fins or anything. In the past, I've had Oscars, I've had bala sharks, I've had angelfish, all kinds of different tetras. Once I had a pair of angelfish that laid eggs, and they hatched, so I raised the angelfish fry. I learned how to hatch my own baby brine shrimp at home, and then I'd feed the angelfish fry the baby brine shrimp, and that's a whole process. But it was really cool to watch the angelfish fry grow from, you know, an egg, and then they got a little bit bigger, and they started to look like an actual tiny angelfish, and they grew up, and it was a nice process to observe and be a part of, and I did enjoy that. And like when I was talking to you about the baby betta that I bought, that I have now, I named it Perry for periwinkle. It was fun. It's kind of funny. When I pick out a betta, and not just bettas, but some other things, I find myself picking the one that looks the most pitiful. Like, with Perry, it was just, she looked so tiny and frail that's the one I wanted for some reason. And also when I've bought other bettas in the past, adult bettas, I tend to pick the one that's like the most drab or the most dull looking, because a lot of them are really colorful, really brightly colored, but I find myself picking like the least likely one, the most, like I said, the most pitiful one, and I don't know why I do that. Anyway, I just wanted to show you my fish. I do enjoy keeping fish very much. And as for the rest of this day, the plan is to go to a mall, which isn't that revolutionary, but for me, I haven't been to a mall. I realized I haven't been to a mall for like 6 years. And the other day I just had a feeling like I wanted to go to a mall, and that has to do with because I was watching this TV show, and they were in the TV show, they were in a mall, and I was like, I haven't been to a mall for a long time. I think I would like to go again. So that is happening today. Also, that's an illustration of what you watch actually influencing you. So be careful what you watch. And to go to this mall, it's about an hour and a half away from where I live, which might be one reason why I don't go to it. It'll be a little bit of a drive, but we shall see how this goes. I think it should be interesting, and I mean, we'll see. Sometimes I think something will be interesting, and then when I get there, I'm wondering, why did I think this would be interesting? But we'll see how it goes. Also, there's one more thing I wanted to add as it relates to animals. It's this verse in the Bible that I have thought was quite interesting.
A righteous man regards the life of his animal, but the tender mercies of the wicked are only cruelty.
Any vintage stuff like Nintendo 63?
We have some Nintendo 64 stuff down here. Pretty limited selection. All the good stuff kind of sells.
So the mall was fine. I think I'm good for another 6 years, but nothing bad happened. It was pretty much the same as I always remember it being. I got a cinnamon roll, which I was happy about, and I got this. It's a hair scrunchie, and it's not like I needed it, but it has daisies on it, which I thought was cute, and that's kind of what sold it for me because my name is Daisy. Anyway, I think it's cute. Also, I saw a dress. I did not buy it. I think it would be called a cocktail dress. It was black. It had sleeves. It was kind of short, like I think it would come mid-thigh, but it was black, but then it had these sequins all over it, and the sequins were in a pattern. They were sewn in a pattern on the dress, so it wasn't just solid sequins. And the sequins were sort of gold and green and purple and blue, and they seemed to change as you moved around the dress, sort of like a chameleon paint job on a car or something. Anyway, it was really pretty, and no, I did not buy it because I don't need more clothes. Also, I don't know where on earth I would wear a cocktail dress. Like, would I wear it to go pick up dog poop? Would I wear a cocktail dress to cut up kindling? You know what I mean. So, but it was very pretty. And now, let us go square dancing.
Be happy in life, Merry Texas Christmas to all.
Alrighty then, 2 measure weight, part point together, butterfly for side 2-step left and right. Part point, together butterfly, side 2-step both ways. Back away 3, together change sides. Back away, together 3. Bind 3 and touch. Bind wrap. Unwrap. Change sides. Scoot. Walk a face, left turning box.
Texas Christmas you all.
Back pinch 3. Scissors through. Twirl 2. Walk and pick up. 2 forward, 2 step.
Texas Christmas you all.
Back pinch 3. Scissors through. Twirl 2. Walk and pick up. 2 forward, 2 step. Scissors side carl. Scissors banjo. Walk 2. 2 I finish tail. Walk and face. Left turning box.
Texas Christmas you all.
Another part point. Howdy. Hello. Alright, 2 measure weight, part point together close, from a box, from a reverse box. And you have to cut back in it. A part point, together to close, box. Reverse box, semi, 2 forward, 2 step. Hit 6. So roll 4, the semi, cut back. Hit 6. So roll 4, semi, cut back. Dip and recover. Go. Close wall, 2 measure weight, dip, recover, forward touch. Dip and recover. Forward touch. Back, turn left and quarter. 2 left turns to the wall. Forward touch. Back, turn left and quarter. 2 left turns to the wall. Twisty bind. Maneuver. Left turning box. Dip center. Maneuver. 2 right turns to the wall. Left turning box. Dip center. Maneuver. 2 right turns to the wall. Forward touch. Back turn left a quarter. 2 left turns to the wall.
So I'm back home now from feeding the ducks and going to Goodwill, and I wanted to share these verses that come to my mind when I'm feeding the ducks and I see so many of them and they all sort of want a piece of bread. These Bible verses have come to my mind when I'm feeding the ducks.
Jesus went through all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field."
Also, I did find something to purchase at Goodwill, 2 items, and yesterday I was saying how I don't need more clothes when I saw that dress at the mall, but I was thinking how I have a lot of clothes that fit, but I've had a lot of them since I was probably a teenager, so it's been a long time, and I don't know that I have to wear the same clothes forever until I die just because they still fit. Like, maybe I should just change it up a little bit. So that convinced me that it was okay to go ahead and buy 2 items of clothing at Goodwill, and I will show you what I got. Okay, so this is the sweater and the jeans that I found at Goodwill today. The sweater is oversized, has oversized sleeves as well. There's a pattern of like chevron stripes on the sweater in white and a peach color. And then as far as the jeans goes, nothing super special about them. Average jeans. I think I need a belt to hold them up, but overall they're not bad at all. I mean, sometimes it's hard to find jeans that fit comfortably at all, so I'm happy with these, and I'm happy with the outfit in general. It was not a bad find for Goodwill. And now I need to get out of these clothes pronto because I heard that they do not wash their clothes at Goodwill. I'm going to play some songs on the piano for you today, and they won't necessarily be hymns this time. as in some of my other videos, but I really like playing these old songs, and this is old sheet music that you can find, well, you can find them online, you can find them at thrift stores or antique stores, and I think a lot of them have a beautiful melody. I think I'm just partial to them compared to a lot of newer music. So I have some errands to run today. I need to go to the bank, I need to go and mail something, and I will probably go to the grocery store. But before I do that, I wanted to show you my car. Can you guess what it is? It's a 1978 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. It's not a show car by any means, it's a driver, but thankfully it runs well, finally. This was my very first car ever, and from the beginning it didn't run that well, but now that it has a new carburetor and fuel pump, it's running better than it ever has, so that's great. It's great not to be stranded with a dead car on the side of the road anymore. It has 123,000 miles on it, but when I got it, the previous owners said that the transmission and engine were rebuilt. It has its quirks. The left turn signal does not automatically return. The speedometer at low speeds does not seem to be working great. But anyways, that's the car I'm driving. The lines of it though, that's what I like the most, like the body style and the lines on this car. The car that I usually drive is a 2010 Mini Cooper S, and I really like that car as well. In fact, I think I like it more than my 1955 Cadillac, as strange as that sounds. The Cadillac has more sentimental value to me, but as far as a driving experience and the car for what it is, I think I actually like my Mini Cooper better. And the reason why I'm not driving that right now is because I like it so much that I dislike racking up miles on it, so I decided to drive the Monte Carlo for now and rack up miles on it. Like, I feel like if that Mini Cooper somehow survived for my entire life, I would continue to drive it for my entire life. I like it that well. So anyway, I better get going on these errands. When I come home, I need to do other chores, and one bigger one is that I need to move some firewood up to the cabin. Also, listen to how this Monte Carlo sounds. Back from running those errands, and now I have to move some of this firewood back there and into the truck. And from there I need to drive the truck up to the cabin, dump the firewood, and then restack it by the cabin. So I got some wood stacked, and I'm glad I was able to do that today. I didn't do a lot of it because I didn't want to aggravate an old injury that has to do with nerves. I can kind of feel it as it is, so I'm glad I was able to do that much and move that much up to the cabin. And I ran those errands earlier, and then I picked up dog poop, and I emptied the ashes out of the wood stove, and I did some vacuuming, just some general things that I feel like a lot of people do day to day. So it's been fairly productive, and now I think I will just wind down for the evening. That was a general picture of 1 week in my life. What is the point of it all? What is the point of life in general? You wake up and go to sleep day after day. You cook dinner, you make plans, you buy clothes, and throw some clothes out. You might go dancing. People earn money and spend it, earn money and spend it, earn money and spend it. Then it is all repeated over and over again. What's the point of it all? The book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible speaks a lot about the futility of life. I would not recommend it to anyone who cannot read it in a balanced and rational way. It is not the easiest book in the Bible to read, at least to me, but I can understand how life does seem futile without God. It would be futile to me without God. The only thing that makes it not futile to me is knowing God and knowing He has a plan and purpose for me and for each of His people on earth, and knowing that this temporal life is fleeting while eternity is forever. There is a reason why we're here. It is to know God, obey Him, and let Him accomplish His will in our lives. As that is happening, hopefully we can help others to know Him too. Truly, do the temporal things of this life really satisfy you? Do they really fulfill you? Does eating or drinking or clothes or cars or buying things or hobbies or entertainment or earning money or being popular or being accomplished or traveling here and there to see this or that, or even certain relationships with people, is that really what gives your life meaning? There was a time in my life, even as a Christian, when it did. There was a time in my life when my idols satisfied me. By idols, I mean other gods with a little g that made me feel secure, or like I had value, or like I had purpose, or gave me an identity, or made me feel like life was worth living. Those needs as a person that I should have satisfied with God Himself. There was a time in my life as a Christian when my job, my relationships, my physical abilities, my hobbies, and general stuff satisfied me so much I felt no need to delve deeply into knowing God better and making Him the first priority in my life. God was more of a side thing, not the main thing. It was only when these idols of mine crumbled before my eyes that things changed. I realized that they can fail and be gone in a short amount of time. I realized how much better and more secure God is. My life is not in those things anymore, and while I can still now enjoy them to some degree, they have lost their shine and sparkle. They don't sparkle like they used to, but now God does. Now, nothing else satisfies me like God does. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Perhaps this is a poor illustration, but it is like a drug. The old drugs don't get me there anymore. They don't have the same effect as they used to. In fact, the idea of trying to use them in the same manner again to achieve the former high they used to give is a gross idea. The idea of turning back to old idols, hoping they will satisfy in the same way as they used to, is a gross idea. It's an offensive thought to me. It's as gross and offensive, for example, as cheating on someone. Particularly for those who claim to be Christians, to be looking to idols to satisfy them instead of God has the same flavor to it, in my opinion, as cheating on someone. Looking for something with idols that should be found in God. For me, the love for idols in life isn't there anymore. They don't appeal to me like they used to. Now it's only God. I understand that sometimes that is what it takes for someone to turn heartily to God. Sometimes it takes their idols and what they thought was their life to crumble before their eyes, even crumble within their hands as they desperately try to hold on to them, before they realize those things were empty, before they realize where life is really to be found. Sometimes that is what it takes for them to really understand, when all the best preaching in the world wouldn't get them there. Enjoy the good things God gives you to enjoy in life. Just know that is not the sum of life's meaning. They are not to be lived for or worshipped. As a Christian, I find it helpful to try to simplify my outlook on life. Keep faithfully following after God. That is the best I can do. Also, I can look at it this way. My job is to obey God. That is all. I want to be willing to do this. And why be willing to do this? Why be motivated to do this? For His sake. Be willing for Him. Love God and do it all for Him. My motivation is my love for Him. Personally, I find that to be motivated by anything other than love for Him isn't so good. If I was motivated to follow and obey God so that I could personally prosper in my life, for instance, not only would that be selfish, but what the world would define as prosperity may not come as a result of following and obeying God. In fact, there is biblical evidence to the contrary. Or if I was motivated to follow and obey God so that I could be seen by others as some kind of popular or admirable figure in the Christian community, being praised by my peers or something like that, not only could it set me up to be proud, but I would then be seeking God for the wrong reason, to be seen by others in a certain light. I don't want that. To be frank, I don't trust people that much that their yay or nay of what I'm doing to be any accurate indicator or proof of my truly following and obeying God. I'll look for God's approval, not man's. No, personally, I find it best to be motivated to follow and obey God because of one's love for Him. That is all. To me, that's a pretty simple outlook. My goal is to pursue God all my life long, to seek to obey Him. That is the best one can do. Speaking of the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, remember what Solomon said after all the things he tried, all the things he observed and explored in Ecclesiastes? Remember his general conclusion? Here is my final conclusion. Fear God and obey His commandments, for this is the entire duty of man. For God will judge us for everything we do, including every hidden thing, good or bad. So then, it would be wise to take counsel from the wisest man, who really did experience richness in secular ways that few get to experience.